Excellent. Well, look, we're on two places at once. So for those that might not be aware, we are actually recording this live. We are doing this live on LinkedIn and YouTube and here on Clubhouse. So if you want to chat along with us, you can find us on LinkedIn or on YouTube. We are going to be opening up the stage here shortly as well. Paris, let's just chat real quick before we welcome our guest up. What are we doing? You tell me.
Wanted to figure out what it is that I was going to do on this app. And what I've been doing for many, many, many years is interviewing people. My background is in journalism, and I just feel like it's such a privilege to get to know somebody's backstory. And in my experience on Clubhouse, you get into these rooms and you meet all of these incredible people, but you get to know them in their area of expertise, but you don't know them, whether it's an incredible mod or whether it's somebody who's seen amazing success. And so I got this idea of doing this one-on-one interview format. Fast forward to recently when you mentioned to me that you had this idea that you also wanted to do. And so that's how this was born.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was funny. Like I go to Paris, I was like, I have this great idea for a show, and she's like, that's exactly what I was thinking. So that's why we're here. We're calling the show as of right now Anybody's Game, but who knows if that changes. But really what we want to do is showcase amazing people, not only on Clubhouse, but amazing people that are producing fantastic content all throughout. And so with that, we'll be hosting weekly shows on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 o'clock Eastern on Clubhouse. So we do encourage you to make sure that you're following us, following the founder streams, and as well, you'll be able to catch up on this later and watch the video. What am I missing before we welcome our amazing guests?
I wanted to explain where the thought behind our working title is basically anybody's game. It literally means this day and age, if you've got an idea, if you've got a project, if there's something you want to do, it literally is your game to play. You can do it. Like, there are so many opportunities that are present and so many opportunities that are available right now that weren't like 5 years ago, a decade ago. And the people who we will be interviewing, who we have on our wish list, are all individuals who have made a name for themselves in their lane. And it just shows that it literally is anybody's game. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what your background is, what platform you're successful on. You can literally make the opportunity yours. So that's where the idea Anybody's Game came up from. I hope that makes a bit more sense, in case, like, what do you mean anyone's game?
Yeah, we're not playing games here. We're just interviewing and talking about that. I love that, Paris. Well, yeah, thank you. I'm excited to do this together. This would be a fun show. And so I guess with that, should we invite our first guest ever, episode number 1?
In case you guys missed it, our first amazing, incredible guest is WOLFxLION.
What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for having me. This is super exciting. This is pretty cool. I've never live streamed on video and been on Clubhouse simulcasting. This is so cool.
We're excited. I'm glad that you're excited. We're glad that you're excited. This is going to be a fun interview. It's been super amazing just getting to know you from near and afar, just seeing you grow within Clubhouse, and you're just such a great leader in how you command the stage and lead fantastic rooms. I'm just so excited that we get a chance to get to know you and showcase you a little more. So with that, Paris, do you want to kick us off?
Sure. I'm WOLFxLION, 3X Technology startup co-founder, angel investor, philanthropist, and an advisor. I have a passion for meeting people. And when I discovered Clubhouse, I guess this is why I spent so much time because I love connecting. I love conversing and meeting people.
That was a little too brief. Not inside Clubhouse. Like, who is Wolf and Lion outside of NFTs and outside of entrepreneurship?
You know what? I'm so sorry because I'm used to, you know, on Clubhouse, you have to do your intro in 10 seconds. That's like the norm on Clubhouse. And so that's the one I gave. Who am I? Yeah, you know, I just, I love my family, my friends. I have just an unbelievable curiosity for all things. I'm just an addict to knowledge and information. I'm just always reading. And yeah, I just love to connect and converse. I've always liked people. I'm sociable, and I don't know what else to say. I'm an amateur photographer. I love motorcycles. I love electric skateboards. Last year during the pandemic, I put 5,000 miles on my Halo board. It goes 30 miles an hour. And it's like the greatest, most meditative activity one could do because it makes you hyper focus. You're going so fast, you can't focus on anything but except what's in front of you. And then the sound of the gravel is so soothing, like in your mind, and you just kind of escape. And it's a really awesome activity. Is that a better intro?
Yeah, I think you just went above and beyond on that. So thanks for sharing that. I got to try this. Did you say an electric skateboard? It makes me think of Back to the Future a little bit there. Yeah, I need to try that myself. So Wolf, you seem like you're a kid at heart. So let's just go to those types of questions. You know, what was Wolf Lion? What was little Wolf Lion like?
So little Wolf and Lion was very outgoing. He loved singing. I was born in Korea, and then early on, like 2-3 years old, I would start performing spontaneously on buses and subways, and it was like my mom would describe me as like somebody who was always on a stage, yeah, it didn't matter where I was. I would always be like singing, and a lot of people liked me. I guess I was pretty cute as a kid. And then when I immigrated to Minnesota, to America, things radically changed. I was bullied really bad, like when I was 5, 6, especially like 6 years old, like first grade. And I totally regressed as a human. I stopped talking. I was mortified by everything, shocked by everything. Not to get too personal or deep, but I was bullied so bad. I couldn't even like ask to like go to the bathroom, and I would like pee in my pants in class. And it was just like, it was the most traumatic upbringing. And then I couldn't really talk to my parents about it because they would like beat your ass, like, why are you peeing in the bathroom in the classroom? You idiot. We're here trying to make a good living and or trying to make a better life. And so it was challenging, but because of those challenges, I felt like when you go through a lot of challenges early on, that it can make you a stronger person and help you with adversity and just overcoming, things that you may think are too difficult later on. So I used trauma as fuel later.
So I'm like literally at a loss. I'm so sorry that you went through that. I can't imagine how that like literally stayed with you and how it shaped your experience as not only a child, but a teenager, the immigrant experience, like all of that is just all rolled up into one. I'm wondering if there is, in your teenage years, was there anything like the formative years, or, they call it childhood, but I feel like oftentimes it's our teenage years where we really kind of start seeing our own personality developing and taking root. What was it like? What helped shape you and the person you are today and helping you transition out of that, just the trauma that you endured as a child?
Ever since I was a little kid, I think, pretty creative. So I could draw like on a photorealistic level, like early on. Like I think I could draw really good from like 4th grade, 5th grade, all through middle school, definitely through high school. So I kind of became maybe popular through my art. And then I also became a good athlete. I was an awesome wrestler in middle school, and then, you know, soccer, wrestling, baseball, all of it. I was very, very comfortable varsity by sophomore year. You know, not a prodigy like freshman, but I was really great at sports. But the highlight of my formative years was probably 15 or 16, when there were all ages nightclubs that opened up. So all the kids from all the different high schools would go to these all ages nightclubs. And I had some in Minnesota.
Okay.
And so me and like some cool guys, some cool like my friends would go to these all ages nightclubs. They would talk to a few girls, get shot down, and then proceed to get drunk all night. And me, I would watch this and say, why would I stop talking to like one or two girls? Why don't I talk to every girl? So instead of a few girls, let me get shot down by hundreds of girls. So I would literally, as awkward as I am at that age, just go up to girls and be like, hey, how's it going? My name's Jin. Nope. Okay, see ya. You know, it would be rejection after rejection. Amazing. They'd be like, no, sorry. But after you talk to so many people, you become numb to rejection. And funny enough, for every 100 girls I talked to, I thought I'd get maybe one phone number. I'd end up getting like 20 or 30 phone numbers. So at the end of the night, I might end up with 50 phone numbers, if you could believe that. So then after doing this every weekend for months, I collected the biggest database of cute girls from other schools outside of my own school. So whenever people had bonfires or basement parties, they would always hit me up and say, yo, Jin, that's my real name, not Wolf. They would say, yo, Jin, can you invite those girls from those other schools? So then I became really popular as I brought in a lot of new people. And then it just kind of, what that taught me was, no, don't be like a playboy trying to meet all these women. What it taught me was how to deal with rejection. And everybody must resolve rejection because you can't just try to sell something to one person and hope for 1,000 batting average. You're gonna like strike out a lot in life. Whatever you're doing, we're all selling. So you gotta understand rejection. And I was able to be impervious to rejection at a young age. And it made me fearless in anything else, because nothing is as frightening as having cute girls reject you over and over and over again.
Well, this story is phenomenal. You know, I just, for anybody listening here, the tie-in is just incredible. The fact that, you know, you were so outgoing, and then you had this moment in time where there, you know, was bullying, and that reduced your confidence, and then I mean, I can just see it to what you're talking and telling us about just now, is just combining those two experiences to really learn and get to this spot where you were able to do that and not worry about the rejection. That's one of the most difficult things to master as a young entrepreneur or a content creator. And so, you know, what I would love to understand is how, as you know, where you're at now, like how close are you to where you thought you would be or where you want to be based off of, you know, these types of experiences that you just outlined for us?
Well, nowhere close. You know, I thought I'd be a net worth billionaire by now, and not because of the power or the fame or the money, because I truly wanted to impact life in a positive way. Even like in high school and college, I just felt like there were a lot of problems in the world: social, civil unrest, not enough clean water, food, education, income disparity. This is as far back as 30 years ago. And as a world, we're just not heading in the right place. So I wanted to be at a place where I could actually affect change. And if I become a hippie, live off the grid, and move to a lake and say, I'm not gonna buy iPhones because of slave labor or what have you, I won't have a voice. So early on, I said, if you want to change the game, you've got to win the game. And only when you win the game can you actually enact change and change the rules. So becoming a billionaire with unlimited resources, a little bit of power and influence, that's a position that you could affect a little bit of change. And whatever it takes to get those resources to affect change at scale, that's my goal.
Fantastic. I love the drive, you know, and I love the way you just broke that down about, you know, how you can affect change, you know, through the goals that you have for yourself. But, you know, I've also noticed that you've been able to affect change without being a billionaire. You're doing a lot of things with your NFTs and doing things for charity as well. You know, I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but it feels really relevant to where we're at in the conversation. If you wanted to share a little bit about how, even though you might have this broader goal, and that affords the ability to be supportive, you're doing this stuff now as we speak.
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody expected the success of Clubhouse. Nobody expected what it could do to change, you know, people, conversations, even the world. Because at the end of the day, you can only enact change through conversation, through inspiration, through galvanizing people through your voice. And that certainly wasn't happening on Twitter. It's not happening on Facebook. There's incredible divisiveness. There's incredible hate. There's cancel culture. There's delete me, unfriend me, friends, family, just constantly canceling each other. And now for the first time, we're actually having to use our voice, and we're having intelligent discourse, debate. We're using reason and logic, and we're creating solutions. And it seems like there's more people listening than just trying to talk. Not all the time, but I feel like we're getting there. And so Clubhouse, as revolutionary as it is, just to bring people together to converse at scale, I don't think we've scratched the surface. And why, when people ask, why is it important for people to talk to one another? It's the only way to create change. You know, we may only be talking to, you know, one person at a time here and there, but think about the exponential power of your voice. In the movie industry, it's called building legs. You can promote a movie for $300 million, and then you're gonna have a fantastic opening weekend. But if there's no word of mouth, that movie crashes, and that movie doesn't have legs. Or some indie movie has no marketing budget, everybody's talking about it, and then it slowly grows week after week and becomes an Academy Award-winning hit with no marketing dollars because of the word of mouth. So now we've got word of mouth through a vehicle called Clubhouse. And when one person can inspire another person, that can definitely have a viral effect. I remember a story somebody told me a long time ago. Would you rather have $1,000 a day for 30 days? Or would you rather have 1 penny doubled up every day for 30 days? And I said, naturally, $1,000, because that's 30,000. Everybody would say that. But the answer is, you want 1 penny doubled up every day for 30 days, because that's $5.4 million. That's the power of compound math. And on Clubhouse, we have the power of compound voice.
I definitely wanted to ask you about audience and voice. A lot of times especially when you're starting out and you have a small number of followers, and we always say, you know, follower count doesn't matter, but also when you do have a smaller follower count, maybe you'll be more shy to start a room because only 2 people will show up, or 5 people will show up, and then they'll leave, and it's literally you and the other person. So I'm just wondering, how did you build your audience? And then I have a follow-up question after that.
It was really challenging in the beginning because I was a lonely tech worker when I discovered Clubhouse, and all these amazing people having conversations, some of these rooms with thousands of people, so super intimidating. I was never like a public-facing co-founder. I didn't speak on stages. I wasn't on camera or anything like that. But I started to, like, I don't know, share in the conversations. And I think my second or third day, I opened up a room, and yeah, it's nerve-wracking. Like, yeah, all of 1 or 2 people are going to show up, and what a loser this guy is. Hopefully your friends and family don't see you in there all alone. But again, it just goes back to, like, I don't care what people think. You know, when you get rejected by hundreds of women at a club when you're 15 years old, nothing is worse than that. So I had great perspective, but I also knew this. I also knew that the greatest tool in my adult life is masterminds, and anybody can create a mastermind. You get 5 people together and you talk about your big wins, your big losses of the week, and then one life hack. And what you do is you invite one new guest every week. Everybody invites a guest, and each week or each month, it goes from 5 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 50. then 100, then you have that exponential effect. And within 8 to 9 weeks, you've got 1,000 people who all share your same interests and passions as that original group. You've got this compounding effect. And once you have 1,000 people, you can put that in a Telegram group, a Discord, or 1,000 people is actually a small conference, and you could monetize that. So for anybody who's afraid of doing one or two, a room with only a couple of people, man, just go for it, because eventually it will scale.
Okay, a follow-up question before we reset the room. So to the people who are starting out today, so to our Android friends who just got on and who are seeing people who have, you know, a lot of following or who are way farther ahead and they can't even link their socials yet, you know, what is your advice to them if they're starting out? And then Jonathan, I'll let you reset.
Yeah, so I would just explore. I call this a utopia of people, ideas, voices permeating our hearts, our minds. We are resonating at scale. The opportunity is endless and bountiful on Clubhouse. Check out as many rooms as possible. Find the people that you resonate with their voices and what their hearts feel like to you. This is a great filtering process. When we look at beautiful people on yachts and private jets and IG, they may not be the best people that you want in your life, you know, but when you listen to someone's voice, you can hear authenticity, and sometimes something a little about that voice, regardless of what they're saying. What's that Maya Angelou quote? You know, you don't remember what they say, but you know how they make you feel. Like I truly believe that, like that voice can carry so much more than just what they're saying. So follow those people, and then plan on starting some rooms, even if you don't even know what to talk about. Just do it. Like, scare yourself. You know, jump out of a plane once in a while. Go bungee jumping. And these are all things I would never do because I'm risk averse. But the risk I will take is I'll start up a room with the risk of having nobody in it.
Yeah, I love that you shared that, Wolf. And, you know, it's such great perspective and really analogous with just life in general, of just putting yourself out there. And sometimes things might feel uncomfortable, but, you know, you don't know unless you try. And yeah, I definitely, I couldn't agree with you more just about being willing to just try a room. And it doesn't really matter how large the room is. It just matters that you start to make some connections, and little by little, you'll start to grow, you know, the people that you enjoy spending time with, whether that's a handful of people or hundreds of people. So yeah, I really appreciate that perspective. We do want to reset the room real quick. So we are in our new weekly show with Paris and Jonathan. We're going to be interviewing folks like Wolf, who are great content creators and kind of getting a lens into that. We're in the Founder Streams Club, and the Founder Streams Club is all about founders, startups, investors, and we do rooms and content every day. So do please follow the club. Also, please give Wolf a follow, as well as Paris and myself. You'll be able to get into some great rooms, be notified of those great rooms, because you can go into the rooms regardless, but you could be notified of those great rooms. And I do want to let people know, if you're in the audience, we will be inviting you up to the stage here shortly, and you can ask your questions to Wolf. So do start raising your hands. We have a handful so far, but do start raising your hands, and here in about 5-10 minutes or so, we'll open up the stage and allow y'all to come on up. So Paris, I'll let you take on the next question if you have one.
I do. I wanted to see, over the span of your experience here on Clubhouse, however long it has been, but also just in content creation in general over the past few years, how have you seen content creation change? I mean, we keep talking about Reels and TikTok and video picking up, but I mean, podcasts are super, super popular, and the amount of time that we spend on this app, for those of us who are on it a lot, is, you know, it says a lot. So is it video? Is it audio? For you and your experience as a content creator, how have you seen that change?
Yeah, wow. What a ride the last decade has been for social media, for the people who really have a passion for creating and building not just a personal brand, but their business brand, you know, the product, service, or what have you, their community. I mean, it's free. What a utopian time. You know, you've got IG, which was incredible, totally visual based. And then you had Snap for a little bit, Twitter, Facebook, all of that. TikTok just took over the collective global hearts and minds in the last 18 months. The greatest top of funnel for marketers, I believe, is TikTok. Jury's still out on conversions. Video is great for conversion, especially YouTube. Podcasts have just, I mean, they've continued to grow. It's been amazing. And I really attribute that to the power of voice. And then now we're seeing live voice. Clubhouse is worth $4 billion. We've got something like 20 million users and 2 million new Android users as of last week. And what we've all seen, like the first generation, second, third generation users of Clubhouse, this is something we've never seen in our whole adult life. I think I said it before, I'll say it again. It's the most revolutionary tool for community building, for ecosystem building, for marketing ever. Because in a time and an age in a world where you won't just buy from any company because of a brand or the look or the feel, now people care about how do they resonate with you? What are your morals, values, and ethics as a company? And how better to portray your morals, ethics, and values than through voice. So every company, product, or service must have a voice. You must have a face. And I think a lot of them are struggling with that because of brand safety. But as important as brand safety is, it's more important to really show who you are to that audience. And they've got to believe in that and look you into the eye in order to buy from you. And without voice, I mean, you're at a major disadvantage.
You know, it really is incredible what Clubhouse has been able to do in the community building. And, you know, for those of us who have participated or created conferences, and, you know, like Wolf, you were talking about how you met all these girls when you were younger and so forth. Just that active community building here, it's just simpler than real life, to just flat out, right? You can, you know, before the pandemic, I was hosting conferences in different cities or events in different cities. And, you know, now you can turn on your phone, create a room and have, you know, 50 to a few hundred people, maybe even 1,000 people, just like that. So it's quite incredible. What do you see, you know, just kind of how this evolves overall, and how the merger of in real life and a tool like Clubhouse, you know, moves forward?
Yeah, so many people are like, you know, the metaverse is going to take over, you know, augmented reality, VR, and I don't think it'll ever replace real life. Real life experiential, whether it's Comic-Con, E3, you know, Cannes Film Festival, you know, Art Basel, anything like Coachella, none of those will ever be replaced. However, you know, audio and AR, VR experiences, Clubhouse, things like this will augment it in a very powerful way. And I think you can do both simultaneously, effectively. I mean, you know, imagine you could be Coca-Cola, and let's say that your only goal was to inspire the world. You know, Coca-Cola could come on Clubhouse right now and start up a room and the room title is a question. And that question is, what would you tell your 18-year-old self? And then you get it's a question that's universal. People would come up all day long to answer that question. And if I was Coca-Cola, I'd hire a celebrity once every 6 hours to host that room. And maybe it's not a celebrity. Maybe it's just a great host or a great moderator. And they could end up doing a 24/7 room that could end up going for weeks or months, talking to people from all over the world, spinning conversation and tangents that intersect generations and cultures and colors and sex and religion, and bring people together, unifying them through conversation. And to be able to do that for free outside of your time, it's absolutely incredible. It's just hard to imagine this. So yeah, I'm very bullish on this.
We're going to do now is we're going to have some rapid fire questions. We have a couple. And to our audience, this is a portion right after rapid fire, we're going to be opening questioning to you. So please do raise your hand if you have any questions for Wolf. We do ask, though, that you please have your bios filled out. And if you're on an Android, we understand you can't link your socials, but just please have something in there so we know that, you know, you're coming up here, you're actual person and not a bot. We really, really do appreciate it. Jonathan, do you want to kick us off, or do you want me to go ahead?
You go.
Okay, so the first question, rapid fire, Wolf, so you cannot like think it over. All of these are going to come at a fast pace. So favorite social platform?
Oh man, I'm nervous. My favorite social?
Yes.
My favorite social would definitely be Clubhouse, but if you don't consider Clubhouse your favorite social platform, I'd probably say IG because of the engagement.
Love it. All right. What's your screen time usage?
Wait, for which app or all of them collectively?
Collectively. When you get that report from Apple at the end of the week, what does that look like?
Holy crap. I don't even know because I don't look at it, but probably anywhere from 10 to 12 hours a day.
An entrepreneur you admire, one.
Elon Musk.
Good choice. What who or what companies or people are your top 3 follows, regardless of platform?
That I follow or they follow me?
You follow. Who are 3 must follows for you?
Oh man, that is a good question. Maybe Joe Rogan, Eric Weinstein, and Lex Friedman.
Okay, Bitcoin, ETH, or Doge?
Bitcoin all the way.
Nice. Okay, you can you're on a private or not a private island, but a deserted island. You can only listen to one artist for the rest of time. Who's it going to be?
Portishead, the album Dummy.
And what is the one thing that you want everyone to know about you? There's one thing that people can walk away from after having met you. What would you hope that is?
You know, I've heard from people on Clubhouse that that Wolf is way too nice and that he is probably not authentic because he's overly nice. And I just want that person or those people to know it's not because, I guess it's from the kindness of my heart, but it came from, I had a traumatic childhood. And that traumatic childhood transitioning from Korean to American was so brutal that that I just knew that there's a lot of people in the world that need kindness, and that whatever I felt when I was 5 or 6, that'll never leave me for the rest of my life.
Off of that one. That was our last rapid fire, but I can honestly, we've co-modded a lot of rooms together, Wolf, and as someone who got to know you behind the scenes, I can attest, and this is one of the reasons why Jonathan and I wanted you to be one of our kickoffs, is because we know how incredible, generous, and authentic you are, and how just behind the scenes you're so warm and generous, not only with your time, but with your audience. Those of us who know you behind the scenes can 100% attest to that. And I hope that the audience has gotten a little glimpse that we got to know, over these past few weeks and months. So it's definitely been a pleasure. This is when Jonathan and I pass the baton on to the audience.
Yeah, and I just want to say, I'm just so, I'm so glad that, you told your story with us. I had no idea any of your backstory there. And so I'm really confident there's people in the audience listening that, that's moving them forward, and, maybe they're working through a tough time themselves. And, it's one of the things I like to say is, especially in entrepreneurship, there's probably something you experience in your personal life that's more difficult than what you'll experience in your entrepreneur life or your creator life. So now that you've kind of realized that, just do it, just go for it. So. Yeah, Paris, I'm ready. Let's start inviting folks up. If you are in the audience, please raise your hand. We are going to start inviting you up. Because we are also recording, we'll just repeat your question so that way we make sure we get it on the video as well. And we'll be taking questions for the next, call it like 15 minutes or so, and then we'll wrap up the show. So looks like the first person we have to stage is Stefan. Hey, Stefan, how you doing? Yeah, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. So I'm just going to repeat that question really quickly just for the video here. Stefan, thanks for asking it. And so Stefan was telling a story about a friend of his that went to the Caribbean, and the person who picked the friend up in the cab asked, what do you do for a life instead of what do you do for a living, just from not being as familiar with English. And so Stefan was asking, Wolf, what would you say if someone asked you that question? What do you do for life?
I would preface it with the fact that I've had great success in my life financially. I've had properties. I've had exotic cars. I've dated women way out of my league. I've met celebrities and had extraordinary experiences. And none of that moved the needle for me. Absolutely none of it. Not even a little bit. And then only when I discovered Clubhouse, when I'm able to speak to people at scale for 10, 12, 14 hours a day, 16 in the beginning. And then when I felt like I could affect change or inspire or educate, that's when I felt my true calling. This is the only thing that matters to me. Everything else just gives me a sense of numbness. So when I'm on Clubhouse and I can educate, inspire, or give hope, that sounds altruistic, but it's not when you consider my background. It's literally the only thing that makes me feel alive.
Yeah, thank you, Stefan.
Thank you for your question, Stefan. It was a pleasure having you. Lauren, you are up. Welcome to the stage. What is your question for Wolf?
Hey, Paris. Thank you. And hey, Jonathan.
So, Lauren, great to meet you. Thanks for the props on the all ages clubs in Portishead. How I see this changing, I've kind of seen already. I'll meet somebody and for the first time on Clubhouse, and they have like a hard time speaking or verbalizing their thoughts and ideas. And then a month later, 45 days later, they become like this master moderator. And a lot of people say Clubhouse is a social media app, and most of the time I disagree. I call this a mastermind app at scale, a mastermind that goes 24/7, and people are constantly learning, evolving. Their minds, their mental dexterity is just intrinsically getting faster and faster. Like I feel like I'm learning faster. I notice that when you're at a lecture or you're on a Zoom or a tutor or a teacher is talking at you, sometimes we tend to tune out. Even on a Zoom, I tune out all the time. But then when I'm in a conversation, it's audio only. It's almost like I'm overhearing something. I'm overhearing a conversation I shouldn't be, and I'm retaining it better. It's like being a fly on the wall versus being spoken to. And I don't know how to describe that, but overhearing something, for me anyway, is more effective than being spoken at or talked to. And there's something about it that is evolving the way people learn, share ideas, and there's a viral nature to it. And I don't know what's possible with this, but it feels nearly unlimited.
Lauren, thank you so much for coming to the stage and asking that question. Let's go ahead and move on to Dev. Dev, do you have a question for Wolf? Yeah, so
That's it.
Yeah, the question was, Wolf, what does burnout look like for you, and what's the remedy?
Yeah, that's such a good question because especially during the pandemic, there was extreme burnout. We were all remote working and we had no exhaust. We're just surrounded by our wives, our kids, our dogs, and it was the same thing every single day. And it was just Groundhog's Day. And humans, animals, were not meant for that. We mentally, physically, we can combust if we don't have some kind of exhaust. Any engine would explode without an exhaust. So whatever you're doing way too much of, there has to be an equal output as well. What am I trying to say? So what's the law of thermodynamics, where energy cannot be created or destroyed? It can just be repurposed. I think I totally butchered it. But what I'm trying to say is, and this is why I'm not an educator or a scholar, what I'm trying to say is, if all you do is you're on Clubhouse 14 or 16 hours a day, you will die. Your brain and your body will die. So you've got to not compound it. You've got to augment 14 hours a day of Clubhouse by what I did. I did 10 squats every hour, which was not a lot. But if you compound it times 10 hours a day, that could be 100 squats. But I didn't stop at 10. I'd do like 20 or 30. So then I'd do like 300 squats a day, sometimes even more. So, what does burnout look like? I don't even know if I'm answering that question, but man, if you're doing 16 hours of anything, whether you're coding, you're in UX or UI or Python or R, whatever it is, you got to do something to get your brain and your body out of that mode and try to like put yourself in a whole nother world to refresh and re-energize. And it's different for everybody, but whoever you are, you've got to find what that space is. It has to be completely 180 than what you're doing for 18 hours a day. I don't know if that makes any sense at all, but I hope it does to somebody.
I'm definitely going to take it. Wolf, are you seriously doing like multiple squats an hour? Like, is that what we should be doing on Clubhouse? Because I have not been doing that many squats.
I'm not a fitness influencer, but I know that my health has deteriorated in the last 18 months because out of boredom, all I would do is work. So I'm just on a chair and my legs started feeling numb. My feet started tingling and I'm just like, what is going on? Like, what if this happens to my whole body? Like, I didn't do it because I need to physically look better or lose weight, which I need to. I did it because it was out of necessity. Like, I knew that circulation is bad. Blood clots are a possibility, and blood clots could lead to stroke or heart attack. Nobody wants that. So I just did it just for a necessity. And I would go to the bathroom, hold onto the sink for balance, and do one deep squat as slow as possible. Come up and down 10. But if you can do 10, sometimes you push yourself to do like 15 or 20, and I think it's beneficial.
We're going to set reminders in our rooms from now on, Jonathan. Resets and squats. As you're listening to this, please do your squats. Jonathan, go ahead. Dev, thank you so much for being here. Actually, Jonathan, I think it's my turn, right?
It is your turn.
Thank you again, Dev, for being here. Michael, you are up. Great to have you on stage. What is your question for Wolf? Thank you so much for your question, Michael. So for the purpose of the recording, I'm just going to repeat it. Michael is an Android user. He is new to Clubhouse. He has a tech company, and now that he is in the Clubhouse universe, he's wondering where to get started. From a newbie's perspective, Wolf, what should he be doing?
Oh, that's my favorite question. I absolutely love Clubhouse, and it's a utopia of ideas and thought leaders and subject matter experts. Know that majority of the rooms on Clubhouse are probably going to waste your time. There's 20 million people, but when you find a few rooms that are really good, try looking for the speakers that you like, and then follow those speakers, and then hit the bell notification to always, so you're notified when they speak. And the people that you curate, who are your favorite speakers, will tell the algorithm which rooms to continue to show you. And eventually your room, the exploration algorithm will do a better job showing you the rooms that you want to do. And I highly urge you to just find people that you like listening to, screenshot them, DM them, message them on IG, Twitter, every channel, network with them, build an audience. And then another thing is, it's a simple thing, but a lot of people don't do this. Make a spreadsheet of all the people that you meet. So if you're in marketing rooms, make a tab for marketing people, another one for business optimization, another one for your favorite singers, another one for TikTok optimization people, and another one for digital ad people. Like, make tabs and put everybody in a spreadsheet. Because when you think of the people that you want to host a room with or invite, you can't really think of it right off the top of your head. And you don't want to go through all your screenshots. So put it in a spreadsheet as quickly as possible. Be diligent about that. And once you find like a good crew of like 10 or 20 people, host some rooms and invite those people to them to either listen or to speak. And try to host rooms as quickly as possible, and fail terribly at hosting rooms like I did. My rooms were horrific in the beginning, but because of those failures, I hope I learned how to be a better speaker and a better host. And it only happened through experience. So don't be afraid and just enjoy. And I hope that's helpful.
I think helpful. Michael, thanks for asking the question. Definitely make sure that you are following Wolf, and definitely agree with what you had to say there. So thanks for coming up. Let's go ahead and move on to Adam. Adam, what is your question for Wolf?
Wow, that's a really good question. Adam, big fan of yours. You run the Best of Clubhouse Twitter, and you really shine a light on some great rooms on Clubhouse. So thank you for that, and I appreciate the very kind words. Yeah, thank you for that. That Edward Snowden Platon talk was incredible, almost 5 hours, and that was one for the ages. The Dalai Lama is someone that I want to speak with, and currently I'm in conversations with their team. So we're looking at late June for the Dalai Lama. His Holiness is dropping an NFT, as funny as that sounds, but it's this is the last time that he will be reincarnated. So it's a spiritually significant moment for Buddhists and the Dalai Lama. And they want to raise some money for the Institute and for the foundation. And I hope to be able to execute for them. I've been a part of or sold nearly $25–30 million worth of NFTs in the last 75 to 90 days. So he'd be one. And then another would be Julian Assange. I believe that freedom of speech is the most important right that we have in the world. And if you think about all the people who are oppressed in so many different countries, that freedom of speech is everything. It can mean the difference between life and death. or preventing potential genocide, because people have to be able to talk about horrific things. And there's a lot of horrific things happening in the world, and we can't allow any kind of censorship. And when people are persecuted for that, like Julian, who created like a place where, whistleblowers could feel safe, and, someone's life is in danger because they only want to protect freedom of speech. That's something that I would absolutely gladly die for. And I think that we need more people like him. And even if there was one more person like him on the planet, we would be living a radically different life.
Thank you, Adam, for asking that question. And with that, we are close to the wrap-up point. This has been a fantastic interview. Wolf, thank you so much for giving us a look into who you are, and just a little bit more than perhaps what you're able to share when you're the one leading the conversation. So it was nice to be able to interview you. One question we have for you is one of our final questions is. What's something that you'd like to ask our audience, and basically just something that they can think about as they go about their day? Like, what's something that they should be really thinking about from you?
I'd love to ask the audience, what do you want out of life? And that stems from a story I heard a few years ago about Amazon's secret process of working backwards. For anyone who's not familiar with the story, if you want anything, if you're a mid-level manager at Amazon, if you want $10 million and 100 employees for a new project, what they do is they'll say yes, and then they'll ask you to write a press release 2 or 3 years in the future after your project's done, and they want you to write it out as if it already happened. How much you sold, what were the revenues, what were the margins, who are your customers, give us some quotes, and every possible detail. And if that fake press release excites and delights you and the people you're pitching it to, they give you the green light. And then your next job is to reverse engineer every step from that press release to today. And then you go on that journey, executing every step until it's done. And Amazon forces you to visualize. And visualizing is the most important thing that we can do in our world. It doesn't matter how big or small, you have to be able to visualize it. If you can't visualize it and possibly verbalize it, it'll never happen. So I just want to ask the audience, what do you want out of life?
Can I just say, I've been in a lot of business rooms. I've been in a lot of entrepreneurship, personal development. There's a lot of, write out your future and all of that conversation, like put pen to paper, but I've never heard this press release concept. And it's brilliant. And I'm going to steal it from you. I'm just going to refer it to you, even though it's Amazon. This was incredible. That was a massive takeaway. Thank you for that, share, Wolf. And to end it, obviously, we want to highlight you even more. What are the best ways for people to connect with you? And also, what platforms should they be on other than Clubhouse to connect with you? And what are you working on? Do you need any support? Can anyone help you? So I'd love to open that floor for you as well.
Absolutely. You can connect with me on Twitter or Instagram on the DM. On a professional level, my company is called Vest, VEZT.co. It's the world's first blockchain music royalty app. We allow fans to invest in music, and if the music does well, they can earn a fractional royalty dividend along with the artist, label, or publisher. So That's on a professional level. And my passion is the NFT Foundation. It's a 501c3 nonprofit. I'm starting it with a couple of crypto collector whales, so to speak, John Legier, Amir, and I have maybe 100 others, very notable people in the NFT space. And the sole mission is to empower every 501c3 charity in the world to mint exceptional NFTs that are timeless and very profitable, so they can raise money for themselves sustainably and in perpetuity forever. Because as we know with NFTs, the moment you mint it, you can attach a royalty rate. And every time it's bought and sold, the minter will receive that royalty rate forever. And I believe that the greatest thing to come out of NFTs, it's his ability to raise money for charities and people in need.
Yeah, it's super exciting. I'm so glad you shared that. I'm all in on the NFTs myself, so really excited to see how that progresses for you, and if Paris or I can be supportive on that, just please don't hesitate at all. Paris, any final thoughts before we close it down?
Yeah, I just think it's just a testament to who he is. Like, literally, we started off the conversation with him and, the childhood and him, the teenage years and just being like the go-to person, for his friends group eventually. And then here being the go-to source of information and support and like just incredible conversation. And also like the charity work that goes behind it. I just feel like the philanthropy is at the root of everything that you do, at the core of all your messaging and everything that you've shared with us. I think is just incredible. And I'm so happy that everyone got to know you a little bit better. And what a gift to Jonathan and I to have you on the first Anyone's Game episode. So thank you so much for not only being here, but being like willing to share personal details into what has helped shape you and allow us to get to know you better.
Well, it's been a privilege and honor to be your first guest on your show. Paris, I love and adore you. It's been great getting to know you the last 7, 8, 9 weeks, and you as well, Jonathan. So I'm honored to be here. So thank you for allowing me to speak and share your stage. And I'm honored to be your very first guest. And I know you guys are going to do great, brilliant things.
Thank you so much, Wolf. We really do appreciate this. And definitely what's funny is that Clubhouse is still young, so there's just gonna be so much more to go. So yeah, definitely appreciate that. Everybody that's listening, thank you so much for spending this last hour with us. Please do make sure that you're following Wolf, and Wolf has a great club that we forgot to talk about, but it's the Talk Nerdy Club. Definitely make sure that you're following that club as well. Like Paris and I had mentioned, this is going to be a weekly show. So do join us next week at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and we'll do it over again. And then we are in the Founder Streams Club. It's a club all about founders, investors, and startups. We do a lot of content here. So look forward to staying connected with you all. Paris's DMs are open. Mine are open as well. If we can be supportive to what you're doing, you just let us know. And we look forward to seeing you all on Clubhouse. So everybody have a fantastic evening. Thank you so much.
Are you closing it?
And let's do a quick
I was not
photo
expecting
here.
that. Wolf. That was like, I felt like